This Sunday. Every Sunday. Side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here! Relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp at mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands for the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes Pit Pass. Sunday!
Gotta knock a second off to get a trophy run. 1 grand, 2 grand, RPM. If I keep breaking loose on the line, then I'm done. 3 grand, 4 grand, RPM.
All right, your RPMs are up. Our RPMs are up. We're looking at red line. We're hitting the tack. We're gonna bend that needle on the Moroso Super Gigando rev counter here on Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show, with your hosts Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. There he is. I see him. I see him. How are you, Chris?
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. I can put this. I can put my sound settings away now. Nice.
And that's a good thing for a radio show, that you could hear the hosts. Sometimes maybe it's not. I've heard things like that where they say, you know, I got to hear you guys. Actually, we heard that. We got to hear you guys again on a Sunday. Yes, we do. So,
how was that again?
I hear you guys again.
That's mostly our response.
Pretty much. So you can call us this week. We got a shiny new phone and it's lit up luxuriously.
Finally, because last week we had one of the greatest guests on, Kenny Wetzel, Wrenching with Kenny, and the phones decide to poop out on us.
Exactly. So 516-572-7440 if you'd like to talk, vent, participate, whatever, and we can speak with you. I don't know what's going on right now. You know, there was some shows today, and of course the Malba show, Billy Velvet's show, is today. And Bill put out an email the other day saying, hey, we're not canceling the show. The show is going on as planned. It's going to rain in the morning, but I'll be there. And he said, you know what? It will have a little bit of a later start. I'll leave the gate open later for people to come in. And if we stay, he says, usually they're done by 3-ish. He goes, if we stay till 4:30, so be it. Well, I'm looking out the WHBC weather window a little prematurely, and I don't think he stayed for too long. I don't.
Yeah, it was supposed to rain up until I think maybe about 2:00 this afternoon, and then it was going to dry up. And so that's what little I know. Taking a look out of the WHPC weather window here at the Nutmeg State, I see a lot of weeds. I got to do some weeding out there. It's I see overgrowth.
You should bring the weed in, because you need it where you can clean it and use it.
Kind of helps the show along. That's the way I feel.
It hurt in this show, right? So yeah, last week we did have Kenny Wessel and Wrenching with Kenny, and I invite you to check out his channel. He does he's a real guy doing real automotive repair in a real shop. It's kind of what people wanted me to do in the shop with a camera for our YouTube account. I said, I don't know, man. I just, I guess maybe I'm a little bit too much of a perfectionist. Not that Kenny isn't by any means, but I wanted, working with one hand most of the times is kind of counterproductive. It's hard to do.
It is.
And what it is, it really comes down to this. It comes down to the editing process. And truthfully, I'll tell you at this stage of my life, even though I would enjoy learning it and doing it, I didn't want to put that much energy into it. I really didn't, because I know
it's a lot.
Like our friend Terry, Terry does a ton of videos, and I've asked him, how long did it take you to edit that 20-minute video? He goes, 4 or 5 hours.
Yep.
And I always think, what are you must be an amateur. No, but everybody I talk to, I ask the same question and they say the same thing. There's a lot, and some guys will do editing in post where they'll flub, they'll say something incorrect, and then they'll put a banner on the bottom like, no, I meant, this, not that. Okay, that still takes time and you have to do it. And
Right.
this is kind of like the stuff you've done professionally. Anything you do a lot, you can do faster and more proficiently. I learned some audio editing from having to be on this end of the table, right, which I hadn't done in the past, and now I can do it pretty quick, and I'm happy that I'm fairly adept at it, and
yeah,
it's not too hard anymore. So the video would be the next step. So anyway, check out Kenny. If you had a question for him, we had some comments on our YouTube videos, but you can call us 516-572-7440 or text us.
Yes, you can text us at 203-670-4127. Get that finger out of wherever you keep it and put it on your phone so you can text us.
Exactly. So that being the case, this was a weird week. A lot of stuff happened. I had an interesting, I had a couple of car inspections to do.
Oh, good. I like to hear those stories.
One of them I did last Saturday, so I didn't talk about it because it was, we had Kenny on. I had to go out to Riverhead. So it was like, oh, Christ, Riverhead, it's going to take me an hour.
You got to drive all the way out to Limbrook. What's the matter with you?
Exactly.
Just talking to, that's what my dad used to say from Brooklyn. He would drive out to Limbrook. That was always a hike for him. So Riverhead is a hike for you from the glorious section of Nassau County you're in.
Well, the thing was, it's about an hour's drive each way, and it was only a half form inspection. So it was only a 4-page inspection, which is a short form. So I'm like, I got to drive like 3 times the time or 4 times the time to do half the work. Well, okay.
To do a hike around.
Well, it ends up that, it was a newer car. There was nothing really special. They did pay me extra to do it. But the second one I got was a P1800S Volvo.
A Volvo.
Which, we like that car, right?
Yeah, you are the saint.
Well, that one was up in College Point.
Ooh.
So let's test these buttons and see if they work and say, hello, caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Ray.
Hey, John, what's happening?
What's up, John?
Ray, you knew where I grew up, Floral Park.
Yep.
When I moved out to where I live now, people said, oh, my God, you're like at the end of Long Island.
Yeah, well, you're out there, yeah.
Okay, here's food for thought.
Uh-huh.
From where I live, I'm closer to Queens than I am to Montauk.
No fooling. Wow, I would have never guessed that.
Really?
Yeah, and they called it Long Island for a reason.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, so you're in the middle of the island, pretty much, right?
Yeah, I'm close. As I move a little east, I'd be in the middle.
Well, that's the thing. I always looked at the island, and like Riverhead to me, that's where I look at as my landmark, because then you have the North and South Forks, which is Montauk and Greenpoint. So if you're going out there, you're on your own. I mean, you might as well be in Connecticut for all I could.
Greenpoint is in Brooklyn.
I'm sorry, you're right. I always confuse the two. Excuse me. So you have the forks. So you're only.
Thank you, John. You beat me to it.
You're only going out there if you're going to go to a snotty party in the Hamptons, or if you're going for Bremer Farms and you want to get corn dipped in butter and a really good pie, on the pie cruise. So Riverhead to me was always the end, pretty much. That's where the LIE ends.
I'm just upset you didn't call when you were out this way. The last time you called me, unfortunately, I was at a wake. But
yeah, well, the problem was, John, I had to get out there, and then I had to get back and do the report. And I did it on Saturday, and I did incorporate a stop in Oakdale at my buddy Chris's house on the way back. So I kind of skirted down. There's a couple real neat shortcuts to go north-south on the island if you know them. And it took me right down into Oakdale, and I got to see him and help get a look at his car. So.
I know every shortcut between the William Floyd Parkway and anywhere west.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So that was that.
The good ones I'd like to learn going east.
Oh, yeah.
That's more of a drive.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But your choices get very limited after the LIE ends. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's Riverhead.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So that was that. So yeah. So other than that, we looked at the Lincoln, played around with that. Chris has got it going again. It's going to be on the road, and he had to get through some. He's dealing with a '63 Lincoln, so it's got some very specific. Those engines are called the Mel engines, which
Right.
would be Mercury,
Mercury, Edsel, Lincoln.
and they're very, very specific. He found a few guys around the country that do have parts for things he wanted to do, which is good because you need a network.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that's good.
I
So-
just want to know who has parts for that Corvette that I sent you the link to. That's a weird. What they make 12 of them?
Yeah, that was the grand. Yeah, that's an entity all unto itself. That's something that's super uber collector.
I want to find one in a barn.
Good luck. I mean, with 12.
Wait a minute. You talking about Grand Sports like a C2 Grand Sport?
No, they made 12 of this Corvette. I'll let Ray give you all the dirt on it, but when I found the video on YouTube, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's like 2 weeks ago now, so I'd have to go back and watch the video again because I don't remember. I remember it was a super high horsepower, had a lot of super engine stuff in it, things that none of the other cars got. So that's the rarest of the rare. I mean, you're not going to find that. If there's whatever's around, that's what's left, and that's it. It's not like if you were talking about a Hemi Cuda or Hemi something or other, you'd find others, but with that, no, it's super. It was almost like, Chris, it was a concept vehicle, almost. It was long in that class. So who knows about those?
What year are we talking about? What
it
was
was
a
a
C2?
concept. What? You
Yeah.
could have gone into a dealership and bought one.
Yes, but nobody did. And that was the thing, because I didn't know what to order. So they didn't, only, 12 guys knew about it.
C2 Grand Sports were racing cars. They were truly
That's
made
true.
for racing. You
That's
couldn't
true.
buy them in a dealership.
This was a C3. Right. It was a 69, I believe, right?
I believe you're correct.
Eight
yeah.
or a 9. It was a
So,
C3.
could have been an aluminum block 427 ZL1.
Well, no, it could have been an L88. I'm reading in the Cars magazine right now how in 68, there was some L88s that got put in Camaros that was aluminum, but there was they said this was the real secret weapon. They took a cast iron block 396 and put the aluminum heads on it. And that was the real secret weapon. Everybody thought just go for the L88, but no, this was the real secret weapon. So Marty, man, he was on top of all of that stuff back then, and I'm sure he knows about this car too. So yeah, John, that's it's all good stuff. It's all history and good to talk about. But yeah.
And before you do the weather forecast, it's not a top-down day on Long Island.
No, it is not. You're absolutely right. My little convertible's sitting there getting wet. So. All right, John. Thanks for the call.
Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.
Yes, sir.
It was a pleasure listening.
All right, John. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, John. Be safe.
All right. So John verified that our phones work.
Yes, thankfully.
So yeah, like I said, I had this in P1800 inspection in College Point. So I can talk about the inspection of the car if you like, but the thing was, I was like, oh no, College Point. Now from where I am on the South Shore, it's really only 22 miles.
But it's a pain to get to.
And when I spoke with the woman about after the fact, we always do like a post inspection. A couple days later, they have maybe a couple questions about things. And I said to her, listen, you got to understand about these last inspections. I said, the Riverhead one, it was almost an hour drive each way to do a half report. I said, that's almost not worth doing it. And at first I said I wasn't going to do it. I ended up coming back in at the end when nobody else would do it. And I got paid a little extra. Then I said the College Point one, I said, it's not the mileage. It's what I have to take to go there.
Yeah.
I said, now, Mike Sr. came with me. I asked him to come with me on that trip. And we literally took the goat paths through Nassau, through Elmont, through Queens Village up to the Clearview and around. I mean, literally, it was over an hour to get there,
Mm-hmm. I believe it. I used to go up there. There used to be a recycling center up there that was called, I think it was called Build It Green.
Okay.
They would if they would demolish any old houses, they would bring a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff. They wouldn't just chuck it or throw it in a landfill. They would bring it back for repurposing. So a lot of home stuff, sinks, toilets, tubs, cabinets, floors, stuff like that. So I used to drive up to College Point, and it was literally right along the water.
Well,
and what a pain to get to.
even from Brooklyn, I mean, yeah, BQE north.
But still.
But right. So I explained that to her, and she was very sympathetic and said, yeah, when we deal with guys in like New York City or Boston or LA or inspectors around the country, we will give them. And they did pay me more for for my trouble. So, so that was good. That was like, but the car, I didn't look into it. I don't need to. And I didn't even get to do it for my own edification. I don't know how many of those cars were made or how many are around. Our good friend Dan has one.
Yeah.
But he bought his, it was like a barn find out of state that had been really taken care of. It's in very good shape. This one was in the family. A gentleman bought it new in '68 and drove it. And then the son got it. And this is what I read. So I don't know how true it is or whatever. He drove it, and then the car got stored. And I guess, his life went on. And then the car, they said it went from indoor storage to outside storage. And then it was back inside again. And now they decided to get it up and running again and sell it. So it's maybe two, but a one owner car, one family car. And this one really had a lot of ravages under it. I know by looking at the pictures that I saw online. I was with Mike. I'm looking. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm actually doing my inspection now. I'm looking at the pictures on Craigslist. I said, I'm doing my inspection already. I'm already ahead of the game, and I can see. I know what I'm in for. A lot of
they're rusty. They are rusty cars,
and it's a mono. It's a monocoque suspension.
Right.
So, and there was rust on all the pinch welds, the floors, the chassis rails. I don't know if they even make those parts for that car. So the car has to be blown apart to be really done correct. I guess it could be a driver. It could be. Nice combo. It was white with a red leather interior, which is nice. But it was kind of, I'll just tell you a funny part of it. There's a fellow there, and he remembered me from when I was there with Billy G and Mike a couple of years ago. This guy, Victor, who's the mechanic. He says, oh, yeah, I remember, because I brought the FJ. He goes, he went right over. He's looking at the FJ. He goes, oh, I love these trucks. I'm like, yeah, you either love them or you don't. Oh, these are great. I love them. So, and then he said, you've been here before. I'm like, yeah, I have been here before. He remembered me. I'm like, wow, no one ever remembers me. I'm surprised. So, not really, they don't. So, and Victor is like a little shorter than me. Maybe he's about 5'6" or so, maybe 140 pounds. So we had him move the car back into the shop so we could put on.
Did it run and drive?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
So he sat in it, and me and Mike looked at each other because all you saw was his head above the door. Like, wow. Well, after I had it on the lift and all my pictures in there, I'm going to take it for the test drive now and do that part of it. And when I pulled out of the shop, Mike was standing there, and he looked at me and just started shaking his head because all he saw was my head. Because I get in the car, and I sat down and I went, boom, like this hole. There was no cushion. That car has straps under the seat cushion to suspend you. And
wow.
So I hit the floor. Then I tried to bring the seat forward, and the tracks were frozen. I'm like, Now,
wow.
I don't have particularly long legs as it is.
Right.
So I was driving like you. I had to put my legs straight out. There was no gas pedal. It was the metal rod. So
no pedal, just the rod.
So the spongy part of my shoe could only push into this metal rod, no feel whatsoever of the gas. Then I go to push the clutch in, and and I put it in first. And as I come out, boom, the clutch grabbed right off the floor.
Oh boy!
And I said to Victor, I said, "Wow!" I said, "That's car has a hydraulic clutch." Now there is an adjustment. There is an adjustment in the back that you can probably adjust the pedal with. I said, this thing should be a little further up. I mean, this is really close. He goes, oh, no. We don't like to adjust them too far up because people they'll ride the clutch or slip the clutch. I was like, well, here, you just like popping the clutch.
Right. It's either off or on. You don't want that.
So it was a very strange test drive. It was the worst seating position, the worst pedal position at all. But the car actually ran and drive pretty well. It was just a matter of all the rust. So
Wow, that's funny. Yeah, those cars always took a bad rap for many, many years, and they finally have collectors are finally recognizing them all over again. The P1800s and that show that Roger Moore was
Saint.
in called The Saint
Yes.
was integral to getting that car almost collector status. It's funny when the media or television shows enhance the collectability of a vehicle. And I can honestly say that can be that car, the P1800, which was the Volvo sports car of its time.
Right.
I think at the time it was like from the early 60s, 62, 63, all the way up to like around the early 70s. It was pretty much produced almost the same look until they made, of course, Volvo in its weirdness, made a station wagon out of them.
One of our friends had one of those.
And that was in the mid 70s, and they sold pretty well, pretty well.
I had a
for
chance to
what they
buy
were.
that wagon too, and I passed on it. You know, if it was a more modern, at the time I had my Mazda, which was, you know, a modern car. If it was a more modern car like that car with a 5-speed, it's a 4-cylinder.
Yeah,
would
sort
have
of.
really been, yeah, would have really been nice.
Mhm.
So, you know,
But yeah, it was literally on a standard Volvo chassis with it was just a sporty body. That was really it.
we'll light the phones again and saying hi, Corley. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, I haven't called in a while. How are you guys?
Hey, Glenn, how are you?
What's up, Glenn?
Doing all right.
All right.
Yeah, I never liked driving those C3s too. Kind of didn't fit in them well.
Yeah.
The taller person car.
Right. Right.
But anyway,
No, I get it.
looking.
Oh, without a doubt. So,
Just been busy working on a faucet in the bathroom. So
oh, wow.
unfortunately, no car work. I got to do other things.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny when you're a car guy, Glenn, that you learn to fix other things,
Yeah.
but you use like an automotive mindset to do so.
You got to do it. You got to fix it. I had you guys in mind. We went on a road trip to Niagara Falls,
Oh, nice.
and Ray, I was thinking how you schedule your trips, and you said the whole drive and pack your stuff, and you were going to work on cars.
Uh-huh. Well, part of it.
Whatever. But I loaded up with. I went to Harbor Freight and picked up a portable little floor jack.
Yes.
I said, let me get these things in order. And I know you had talked about that in the past. Like, I bought a big breaker bar, some other hand tools. I said, all right, a knee pad,
Yeah.
gloves.
Right.
I said, let me get everything in here, a flashlight.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Thankfully,
So you were going to Niagara Falls to work on a car?
No, that was just for the road trip.
Oh, it was just for the road trip.
No, I did that when I went to Syracuse Nationals. Even I was driving my Mazda, which was newer, but I made sure I took a floor jack. I brought my breaker bar. Well, I always had a breaker bar in the car for the lugs, but I brought my little battery-powered air compressor. I brought my battery-powered impact gun.
yeah.
Because if I'm going to
those
change a
little
flat,
things.
you don't want to do it like a rube. You want to do it like
No.
someone knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I didn't go up there to change brakes, but
Right. What did you drive up there, Glenn? What was the car of choice?
we took the Suburban.
Okay.
The 09 Suburban. It actually, ironically, it has like 96,000 on it now.
Yeah.
That's like, in my opinion, that's like a lower mileage.
Yeah. Yeah.
For that
It
car.
sure is. What's the engine? What's the engine in it?
That's the 5.3.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
so, I wanted to ask you, that car has that active fuel management, which
Right.
is kind of like some people say it's horrible. It's how it was, and it tells you on the display how well it's doing gas mileage wise.
Right.
Average, it doesn't get great gas mileage.
Well, how'd you do on the trip?
Around town. Better.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I really didn't clock that. I went by the computer.
Okay.
And again, overall, if I'm getting 14, it's the around town part that really gets that
So
car.
what is the difference between around town and what you were getting on the trip?
Not much.
Because I'll tell you this, like with my FJ, that's like 15 miles to the gallon average. Yeah, I get between 14 and 16. That's it. But they said, on the road, you'll be lucky if you see 19 or 20.
I
Well,
was gonna say 20 would be. You're kind of like reaching for 20.
so what I did is I filled the truck and then drove to Riverhead and back. And I used about a quarter of a tank. I filled it again and I did the calculation. It was 20 on the nose. So,
Yeah,
you know,
I should have wrote down the mileage when I stopped. I stopped for gas upstate New York in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
I didn't want to buy gas. We stayed in Canada. I didn't want to go and buy gas there. I didn't know.
Okay.
Would be paying like a lot more, and I think it's sold by the liter or whatever. But
yeah.
got fuel in New York, crossed over, did our thing, and then came back.
Nice.
The car did very well overall because when I was in the New York side, I didn't gas up until I got back here.
You know, I'll tell you, we went to Niagara Falls years ago. I had my minivan that I bought from one of the guys here on the job, and that was the old Silhouette, the Dustbuster with the big, you know. And not only did I get good mileage, but running that thing at like whatever I was doing, 70 spurts of 80 miles an hour there and back, it kind of broke that motor free. It kind of, the injectors were firing at a rate they never fired before, and literally the car ran better when I got back. It idled better. It just a prolonged trip like that is very good.
You did Italian tune-up,
but prolonged to Canada and back.
Yeah,
good ride. True. I kept a lookout. Like there's a lot of it's in and around. Let's say the boroughs. You got to get out, and then once you're on. Yeah. I took the throughway to 17 and kind of went that route.
Oh wow! Yeah, 17 that's interesting.
It's a nice ride.
I know.
You mentioned those truckers. And some of those guys, let me tell you that. Yeah. I'm looking. I said, this truck's passing me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah. 75.
I know.
Stay away.
Let him go.
It's a new world. And 17. I've done 17. We took 17 to Syracuse a few times, and it is a nice road, but it's got its issues. You know, and it depends like if there's construction, and of course you got to come in from 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Good ride, good overall, and I did all right. But that car has that active fuel management, which they say is like sometimes, like I guess, could be the nemesis of the engine, like for oiling and things like that. So I was the only one checking oil at the rest stop with the hood up. You know?
Yeah, nobody does that anymore.
So I said, all right, everything looks all right. I don't think it's burning fuel because I was thinking of getting one of those plug-in. Like it deactivates the active fuel management. It goes in your OBD port. Right. And I'm like, do I get one? Not get one? I'm like, I don't know. Like they say, like it. Well, cures the elements of those systems. That deactivation.
And Glenn, I will say this goes for any car, for anybody. You know, obviously keep up on your oil changes and whatnot, but a fuel additive. And I know Vince uses Seafoam. I use Startron. I mean, I even go to Walmart and I buy their, it's called like a fuel injector cleaner. It's basically the Seafoam. It's rebranded, and it's a couple bucks cheaper if you buy Walmart's brand. And that's good to throw in the tank every couple months. Just throw a bottle of it in. And, now I was just thinking today, my FJ's got 140 plus on it. I'm thinking, you know what? It runs great. It runs fine. But I'm thinking maybe I'll pull the injectors, bring them over to Frank Jewell down at South Shore Fuel Injector and have him do a fuel injector cleaning for me.
Yeah.
So
things are running all right. That's how I look at it. Use things, try to keep it up to,
You got to think with the injector, the pintle opens and closes based on demand. And if the car does mainly around town, it's only opening a small percentage. It's never really opening half or full. On those rare occasions. So it'll build a ridge. It's like a piston building a ridge in a cylinder, or a ring building a ridge in a cylinder.
So you got to kind of, like you said, you got to get them.
Well, the problem is if it is a deposit that does eventually break off, now it can stick the injector or it can give you a runnability issue. So for a lot of reasons, it's a good idea to, do an injector cleaning like in this case, I'll do it at 140 and I probably won't do it again. Unless I go 300, I don't know.
I was happy I didn't have any issues, and I said, all right, I'm good to go. I got a brand new little floor jack. So
nice.
I'm not going to return it. They're cheap enough, in my opinion.
Right.
And I said, well, this is all good. We got back in the driveway, and that's all I wanted.
Well, it's good to hear you had a safe trip. It's good to know you're back. And next thing I want to hear is about some Camaro work.
Well, hopefully, this weekend was a lot of getting back to normal, whatever. And I decided to tackle this faucet thing in the bathroom. So I got to get that done.
Got to do it.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be working on the car soon. We'll see. I'll be in touch.
Very good, Glenn. Thanks for the call. Talk to you soon.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Thanks,
Hello.
Glenn.
All right. So that took us right to the bottom of the hour.
Just to let you know that Joe the Undertaker has reached out to us at 203-670-4127. He's using his thumbs correctly.
Nice.
And he says, geographically, we're talking about the shape of Long Island. Now, geographically, Robert Moses and the Sac Coast is approximately the middle of the island, including Brooklyn and Queens,
Yeah. Well,
even if they don't want to admit it.
exactly. He's right. He's right. So listen, speaking of that,
Thank you, Joe.
thank you, Joe. Right. Speaking of that, Joe will leave a comment on the YouTube channel, one of them at least, whatever, which we thank him for. And I kind of figured out who he was, but there's a couple more. There's some people who have left comments and they just use, like a screen name. So
Right.
I have no idea who they are unless I could tell by what they're saying, which is not always the case. So do me a favor. If you're listening, that means you are the people who have commented are among the listeners. I know that. Now, Keith, we know who you are. You got your picture.
Maybe they don't want to identify themselves, right? They don't want to
making,
admit to listening to this program.
especially when making comments about you. I know, but I always treat them with nice and respect. But this is what I'm asking, and I learned that I do this now when I comment on someone else's channel who doesn't know who I am. At the end,
You don't start the conversation with "Hey, you." That's what.
Well, that's okay. You could do that. But at the end of that conversation, good, bad, or indifferent, just say, Joe or Pete or George. Just drop your name in there so I'll know. So I can reply to, well, hey, Slick Skinny 302-5690. Thanks for that. That's kind of awkward. You like to talk to people by their names.
What's up, Slick?
Exactly. So, yeah, please do me a favor. Put your name in there. So unless you're hiding who you are, and then that's okay too, and whatever.
There's a line you just reminded me of in The Odd Couple in the movie. Oscar Madison is yelling at Felix Unger because he says he keeps putting his initials at the bottom of the note. We're all out of toilet paper. F you.
Nice. That's good. That's a good one. All right. So the other thing that's at the bottom of the toilet paper is the weather today. As I look out the WHPC weather window, I see that our weather is powered by Pantano's Gourmet. There's a big sign out there that says it, with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. And today, yes, rainy and it just says, what is this? It's like rain. Oh, it's all one word. Rain diminishing. Oh, rain diminishing to showers. Well, I don't know if it has.
He's the proofread.
I is 67. Yeah, I think Rob wrote it. It's going to rain all day. I don't know. Tonight, rain, partly cloudy, low 56. Tomorrow, they're saying mostly sunny, high 73. So the lawn will be happy. That's good. I'm glad we have that to deal with.
Because my lawn is dead.
Oh, I know. Everything was crazy around here, too. And I need to mention that this week's great show on the station is this week's Long Island News. Oh. Fridays at 3 p.m. And Chris, this is a heavy hitter show by a heavy hitter host.
Yes.
Host Bill McIntyre. He takes a look at stories shaping the Long Island community over the past week. And Bill has a way of doing it with a local flair because he's a local guy and he's stone cold professional.
And I like his opinions.
Yes. One of them is he likes us, so that's good.
That is true.
Yeah. So listen as Newsday reporters and local newsmakers talk about the stories affecting Long Islanders like you and me, and not you anymore, but
I'm an ex-Long
we'll put you in the group. Yeah, we'll put you in. So with that,
there's no island left for Islanders like me.
I know. Well, is there an honor group of the hour left for people like us?
Yes, there is actually. It's very funny. Glenn should mention Jack's purchasing a small jack for his trip, because the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour, if you ever had a car slip off a jack and lived to tell about it, ever had jack up a car in the dirt or on a hill and instantly know that was not a good idea? Have you ever watched the bottle jack lose hydraulic pressure and start to slowly come down while you were under the car? Ever tried to lean on a lug nut with such force to break the grip that you slip the car off the jack? Well, if you ever dropped a car off a jack and lived to tell the tale, then you're part of the Motormouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour this week.
And if you ever drop her off a lift, I want to hear about it, so call. So, all right, we'll be back with more Motormouth Radio after this quick little break on 90.3 WHPC.
We'll be back with answers to your car questions. Give us a call at 516-572-7440. Oh, I should have said the Motormouth thing.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar Lifetime Nationwide Warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available at 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com.
Okay, Mark Warman here from Graveyard Cars, hanging out with my buddies at, what's the name of it again?
Motormouth Radio.
Hey, Mark Warman here from Graveyard Cars, hanging out with my friends at Motormouth Radio. Sunday morning, I don't know what this fat bald guy's laughing about. You'll forget stuff soon enough too, my friend. Be sure to listen. When are you guys on? 10 a.m.?
Sundays at noon.
Noon on Sundays.
Excellent. This was
No, that's you got the promo. The best one was the first one. That's why I was because you said, what was the name of this again? That's the promo.
What better presentation could you do than that?
Hey, you, get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the Motor Mouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
Yeah, you may learn it. We're now in the third half of the show. You can call us at 516-572-7440. Talk about cars, car concerns, motorcycles, rain, barrels, whatever you got out there will entertain you. Chris, I got to tell you something. You know, I've been in a push to clear out stuff and junk in an effort to maybe relocate myself.
It's all lip service. I don't believe a word of it.
Neither does my wife, but you know, we're trying. We're actually trying. What can I tell you? We're we're trying to do it.
Why I like her.
Yeah. So what happened is
she's a realist like me.
Yeah, I've been deciding where to start because I got to get back into eBay and stuff. And I don't know. You know, I have a lot of big stuff that I'm not going to be shipping it. I'm not going to become a crate builder in my old age.
Facebook Marketplace.
I actually found this thing here.
What in the world is that? It's
very complete ignition switch.
It's a switch. Yeah, it's an ignition switch. What is it to?
If you were to take it apart, you pop this thing here. Where's the hole? Yeah, you pop this thing.
It's a column mounted ignition switch, isn't it?
Yeah. This should just
I got to put on my good glasses. Hold on. Let's see it again.
Okay. So the way it works is the switch part, the switch part with these wires.
It's foreign. It's not a domestic.
Yeah, and it's got 2 keys. The switch part will work on many, many Fiats. This piece here that cuffs the steering column, this is for a Fiat X19.
Oh, wow.
So I want to show you something. I was showing this to my wife. I said, if a guy needed these 2 bolts, it would drive him nuts. Because can you see how this bolt is configured?
It's got threads, and then just before the head of the bolt, it's got like some sort of collar.
Paper. Yeah. So
yeah, good luck finding those.
Exactly. Well, I got them. So now I decided this will be one of the first things I throw up. You know, let me see, because the switch portion can be used in many Fiats.
Yeah. With
2 keys, and this piece is what bolts onto the column of an X19.
Very nice.
And believe it or not, of course, you know, when you want to sell something, you don't know what it's worth. What do? You Google it and you see what other people get for it.
Of course.
$200, guys.
I believe it.
$100 for that dopey thing. So I'm thinking, okay, so here's a strategy. Do I come in and be the $100 guy, or the $150 guy, or like do I price myself out because I'm too low, or do I say, oh, I'm just another one of the high price guys?
Well, it all depends on your situation, and your situation I'd like to call dire.
That's the word I was thinking of.
So I would price that probably not half price, but I would go maybe $20 lower than the other guy.
That's like
because that'll be just as attractive.
So you think around like, 160, 170.
Yeah, exactly. I would keep it, just don't go half price because people are going to get scared away.
Right. Let's scare away ourselves on the phone and say, hi, caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, guys, how you been?
It's a voice from our past. How are you, Vic? What's happening?
Vic!
Not bad, not bad.
You sound good.
You're still listening?
Yeah, I have been sick, but now I'm actually getting better, so.
Good, good. What's happening?
That's good.
Nothing much. You're ready to bail out in what, about a year?
That's about the, that's kind of like what we've been thinking, yeah.
Vic, Ray's going to have a party. Bring a shovel.
Yeah, and bring your own trash can to fill with.
Right. So is that going to be the last hurrah for the show?
We don't know. We've talked about it. We don't know what's going to happen, if we're going to still be able to do it through here, or if we're going to have to reinvent and do it somewhere else. That's going to write itself, and there's going to be nothing we can really do about it, unfortunately. So we'll be.
You guys had a good run, so.
Oh yeah. Well, 23 years right now, so that's pretty good. So yeah, we definitely want to keep it going, because we're, until we're, I guess, like we both think of like our last gasps in the hospital bed would be like, okay, thanks for calling, and then done.
Right.
That's what we think, but who knows?
So you're going to get the Nomad done, or is that going to go away?
I actually have a guy in Queens, a friend of a friend, who wants the car.
Right.
Nice.
And he's a body guy. He's not afraid of what it needs.
Everything.
So part of me says, you know what? He's the guy that should do it, because I can't do that heavy bodywork stuff.
Right.
I haven't decided yet. I don't know. It'd be easier to do that than to try and transport it 700 miles south.
Oh dear God.
Right.
Right. I may end up with like a pile of rust on the floor.
Right.
Hit a bump and it stays there.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's all over I-80.
Yeah.
Confetti. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm still waiting for my body guy. He's so busy that he can't get to Mike.
Yes, that's the problem.
And he's doing such a great deal for me. I can't yell, Got to do all that big insurance work before he can get to me.
Well, and that's the thing. That's where the money is made, right?
Yeah, the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
It's a shame, because I have all the parts I need.
Yeah.
But it's just, I'm 70 now. You got to realize the stuff you can't do anymore.
Right. Exactly.
30 years ago, 40 years ago, I'd think nothing, spending a day or two straight on it, but no.
Sure.
No, of course.
With the bad knees, if I bend down, I stay there.
I know. Yeah, it's very true. That's the reality.
You get it.
Yeah, that is what I want. My first car was a 55, and hopefully my last one's a 55, but who knows?
Right.
Yeah. If somebody comes along and has a boatload of money,
yeah. Right.
That'd be it. And I can say, yeah, I wanted another one. So
Yeah.
So that's that. So
Yep.
You getting rid of stuff, or?
Yeah. I don't know who wants the stuff I have. Yeah. Speaking of 55, I got a bunch of doors that I want to sell. They're actually, sedan doors. What do I have? I got 3 of those. Yeah. Cause I gave one to a friend years ago. So I have 3 sedan doors that are in good shape. I got a pair of GTO doors. I got a pair of Challenger doors. That's all the stuff that I don't want to put online because I don't want to have to try and ship it. Doors are actually bigger and heavier than they look,
Right, yeah. You get 200 for it, and it's 400 to ship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and on the other end, they're not that rare that people are going to want to spend that kind of money, especially with the shipping, which has gotten out of hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I bought 46 Fender for 300, and it was 4 1/4 to ship it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I believe it.
I mean, if you have to have it, you have to have it. But it's our good friend, Mackerman Brian wanted fenders for his Mustang. He's in Maryland. He just drove up to Carlisle instead of we drive down. He drove up, and he found them on a rainy day and got a score of the century because it was raining and the guy didn't want to take him home, and there was nobody else looking to buy. So he hit the Cinderella story, which is great.
That's how I got the Nomad quarters for the 55.
Yeah.
At Carlisle. It took me 4 hours there, 4 hours back, and half an hour at Carlisle.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get it. I had to do the same thing, Vic. When Chrysler at Carlisle, took me 4 hours to get there, 4 hours to get back.
Yep.
I walked right up to the guy that had him, grabbed them, and came home. So I started at 3, got there at 7. I was home by 12:30.
That's the way to do it. Hey, well, I pass it now. Every time I go down south, I pass it going down and coming back like, yep, there's Carlisle. What is it, 4 exits? Okay.
Yep. And I had blinders on, so I didn't buy anything else.
Right. That's the way to do it. That's
Because it's very easy to throw an extra $1,000 and stuff you don't need right that minute.
Oh, I know, without a doubt.
Sure.
You know.
Yes.
Plus, I enjoy swap meets, but for me, it's a pretzel and a Coke.
Yeah. You know, you said it, Vic, many times, and I've used your line. You know, do I need it? No. Do I want it? Sure, I'll take it. But yeah,
do I feel like dragging it to the car? No.
Yeah, but do I want to throw it up? You know, is that going to be a cool piece of garage junk? Absolutely.
Of course.
Right. But, you know, it comes down to the fact I have 3. Do I need 4?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah,
we're just creatures of habit on that.
You're right.
Because it's strictly to meet people.
Yeah, go out and have a good time. It's a good way to kill a day, and yeah, without a doubt, sure.
Exactly, but now it's 100 in gas,
right.
30 to 40 to get in.
Right.
You gotta buy lunch. That's $60.
Yeah, it ends up being expensive.
Tired as hell when you get home.
Yeah.
You know, those days are just going there and coming back and doing something.
Hey, I just drove around yesterday. I made like 3 or 4 stops at different shops, things I had to do, and came home. And I sat down and took a nap.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I was out.
Yeah, that's it. You want to see guys, call them up.
Yeah, it's still nice getting out once in a while, though. I do.
It is, but times are changing for us.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, 21, great.
Yep.
21, you spend 3-4 days somewhere.
Right.
Come home and go work on something or go to a bar or something, but no.
In 21, you spent 3 or 4 days somewhere, and when you got home, you didn't know where you were. Like, gee, where was I for 3 or 4 days?
Where did I get these pants?
And the back seat was rattling from all the empties.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Vic. Well, thanks for that thought. That'll keep us going for the rest of the day. Appreciate it.
You got it, man. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Be safe, Vic.
That was Vic. Yeah, it's always good to hear from Vic. He's right. Vic, as long as I've known him, he's been a truth speaker. The things he says, sometimes you say, what the hell is that all about? But there's wisdom in there. He definitely has that wisdom, and he knows what he talks about. So
very much so.
Very
true. but yeah, when it comes down to disseminating where you're going to start with your junk pile, I say start. Just start.
Yes.
The first thing, just grab something. And mind you, real fast, I had to empty out a house a couple of weeks ago with my brother-in-law, and we had to empty out a house from my mother-in-law, who happened to be basically, she collected things.
Yeah.
And we didn't know where to start. We were literally back to back looking at a house going, where do you start? And I said, let's just start. Start with this. Reach down, pick something up, and go with it.
Yeah. The good thing is the stuff wasn't yours, so it's easier. If it's up to you, we just dumpster all of it.
Right.
But that's always an easier thing than when it's stuff that you've cultivated and saved through your life.
But you're making it sound like you're one with the item, and it's
I know. Well,
it's
you know
just
how
the thing.
I know. I understand. But it doesn't stop the affliction. It doesn't stop the you don't just make that decision that these things don't matter anymore. Because I have bags and boxes of stuff that through the years I've cleaned out something and threw all this stuff in a box because it was stuff that I want. And I'll go back and look through it and like, wow, everything has a memory. Everything was like, I remember when and that's the problem. There's memories attached to it.
Not to get psychological, but you have reached the first step.
Yeah.
The first step is accepting.
Well, the other thing is, does this have memories for anybody else? And the answer is probably no.
No.
Unless you leave a note with it.
Right.
If you leave a note with it. I started doing this with my albums. I have notes inside of a lot of my
torturing
albums
yourself
that I dated for, like, hopefully it'll be my kids who'll go through it one year and see this and say, wow, Dad wrote this note in 2000 something or other. And I would mention like what that, something about the music, what it meant to me.
And she'll say it as she's throwing it into the dumpster. Oh, that was real nice, Dad.
Maybe so. Well, you know what?
Well, let's put it this way. I've already started doing exactly what you're saying. So I am putting my my advice where my mouth is.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing, because every night, my wife and I come downstairs here in the basement, and we'll go through a box, and we'll save some, and we'll toss some out. We've brought some to Goodwill. Some of them is going online to sell, and some of them is just getting thrown away because it comes down to spaces of the premium.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been selling off car parts for years now,
Right.
and I still have junk that and I've collected junk from that, that
I know. I think
Chrysler.
and that's it. That's my impetus. I know you've done that, and I think you've done okay doing it. I mean, let's face it. I don't think it's you probably haven't made a retirement account out of it.
No.
But you got some. That's what I do when I do these inspections. I have that money deposited into a bank that I used to use the account regularly, and I don't anymore. So now it's just an account that sits there, and I just have the money going in there. And
That's great.
I'll take the money out and give it to a grandkid or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all. You'll buy a semester of school or something.
Yeah, if I'm that lucky.
But no. But that's exactly that's fun money. That's what that is.
Right.
And that's what I use. I have the same account, and a lot of my auxiliary stuff little dribs and drabs of cash that comes in either way goes into that account. And yeah, eventually I'm going to get a set of white wall tires for my Chrysler.
Right.
Eventually.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah.
So speaking of the cars, I got the correct seat brackets for my Pontiac finally.
Hey, finally.
I did have to modify the one for the driver's side. I had to hog out the holes a little so it would center. The passenger side fit. So now I started putting the carpet in, the new gold carpet, and I found a really nice way of making the holes for the seat studs and for things. I like for the seatbelt bolt. I have a set of punches that you use, a gasket punch set. So you can make holes in gaskets,
right?
Gasket paper, and they're actually very sharp. These punches have a nice sharp edge. So I kind of laid the carpet over the stud, and I felt with my finger, I felt the carpet on top of the stud, and then put the next size biggest punch over that, and started whacking it with a hammer.
Oh, nice!
And it just boom dropped down over the stud, made a nice clean hole. Beautiful. So that was
good job.
Through the years, guys, and I've even seen it on TV shows, even Mark Warman had said at one point, they would use like a big soldering iron and like melt the carpet to melt the hole. Well, because so it wouldn't fray, Yeah,
that makes sense. Because that's what will happen.
But I chose to use this punch set, and it works pretty good. Worked pretty nice. So I have that in. I didn't finish. I have to finish that job yet. And now I finally ordered another fan and shroud that presumably it's a universal fit, and it presumably should work in my car. I'm gonna have to adapt it to make it fit and mount in the car. So that's gonna be a little bit of a project.
More engineering.
Because I'm not mounting it to the radiator like everybody else does. I've been looking at pictures. A lot of guys have these strips on the side of their radiator that they could put screws in. I don't have that on mine. So I'm going to have to go to the core support. And the problem is the core support on my car is that part of it's on an angle. So it's closer at the bottom than it'll be at the top. There's going to be maybe 2 or 2.5 inch gap at the top. And I'll have to I'll take some tubing maybe and make like a spacer, and I'll use some sort of a bolt, maybe a bolt and a nut, or, I don't know yet. I haven't figured it out. I have to, sometimes you have an idea of what you have to do, but you don't know what you're going to do until you're doing it.
I hope you enjoy this.
Well, you know what? Enjoy it or not, you don't have a choice. It's got to be.
Yeah, you don't.
It's got to be mounted. It's got to be fit. And
it's either that or plumbing strap.
Yeah. And I've seen guys do that. No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I am in the process of still trying to de-stick the top of the dashboard on this Camry.
Oh, still, wow.
And I am using a combination of everything.
Right.
But I've come to realize that parts cleaner, using the spray parts cleaner, will take the grain right off the top of the dash. But the dash is ruined anyway because it's so sticky. So now it turns into a laboratory, a plastic surface laboratory. So I've been doing that, but a combination of paint thinner and Goo Gone have been giving me the best results, but I'm still not done yet.
Okay. I was going to say, what about like Dawn dish soap, because that's good at removing oils and
Nope, doesn't even cut it
when the Exxon Valdez explodes.
Yeah, right. I heard. Yeah, it doesn't even cut it. It rides right on top of it, just like rubbing alcohol, just like everything else. There's fantastic. Everything runs right on top of it. This is the gooeyest, stickiest material that I've worked with. I could. It's almost mucus-like. I can run my thumb along it and make little tiny balls.
Oh wow!
Little tiny balls of mucus.
Yeah.
That's how sticky it is. So, and I've realized that I've gone to Dr. Google and saw what it takes to replace that dash pad, and it takes a lot.
I
So
think Vince is looking at like gasoline, but I don't think that's maybe a great idea. I don't
no,
know. Well, let me ask you this, just for the heck of it, I think what's happening is it's outgassing. Is it? You think that? Is there a possibility that it's just beyond cleaning?
It is. Oh, it's certainly beyond cleaning. It's gotten to the point where what I want to do is I want to actually get it not sticky and then pretty much do a light sand on it. So I take all the grain off it.
Okay.
See how it looks. But as long as it's one monotone look, I think I'm going to be okay. Worst comes to worst, I'll just change it. Because I have a good friend of mine that has a 2011. This is an 09 Camry. He has an 11, and the dash is actually very good on it.
Okay.
So I know I can go probably maybe not 10, but 11 and up to newer. I think 11 or 12 is the last year for those cars.
That's a very very intensive project. That's not
it is
of heart.
But it's one of those things that you can literally put everything down and go away.
Sure.
So I come back. If I have an hour to kill, I come back and do a little bit more and practice and get asphyxiated.
When the guy comes with the record to say, all right, where's that Camry we're picking up? Jesus, what happened inside of here? Forget it. Just take it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't shake my hand. It's way too sticky.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, what are you going to do?
But yeah, it is turned into a laboratory now, and it's kind of funny. Just real fast, not to change the subject, but I found out that a car that's way too dirty, like this one was, the dirt in the back by the trunk had collected all the way up past the gasket.
Oh wow!
I've never seen this before, and allowed water to get in, and there was water in the trunk when I got the car. But when I cleaned out that trough around where the trunk gasket was, sealed the trunk right up. So I was able to solve that water problem. But yeah, there's things going on here in the Nutmeg State automotively, just to let you know.
And I'll tell you, I was hoping we were going to have a guest on today, Evan Steger from Time to Shine Polishing. But we didn't get together. So maybe next week we'll have Evan on. We'll talk about polishing and cleaning and all that good stuff.
And hope the phones will work.
Right. Well, yeah, I think we're good now. We got a new phone. So with that in mind, what do I tell the people waiting for me outside in the parking lot?
Don't follow us home, and make sure that jack is well secured when you jack up your car.
You got that right. So for Chris Switzer, Ray Guarino, practicing safe jacking here on 90.3 WHPC. See you next week.
See you. Bye.
Bye. This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you